Something special.
Hi friends, welcome back or welcome to Friends in High Places podcast. Guess who's back again. Tommy's back, tell a friend.
I'm your friend. I didn't think we'd be getting into that so soon, like singing on the frickin' podcast.
Dude, this was my surprise. This is why I was laughing so hard before I pressed record, because I've been planning this for days.
That's awesome.
I was gonna warn you, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna see what her reaction is, because I didn't even know what it was gonna be, whether you'd sing along with me or you'd just be like, what the fuck?
That's so awesome.
Oh fuck, I love it.
That's hilarious.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that intro, because Tommy's back. What's up?
So how's it
going, dude? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really happy to be recording today. It's like fucking minus 30 basically outside, and I don't want to do anything outside and just be inside cozy.
Yeah, no shit.
So
yeah, you guys have some crazy fucking weather going on right now. Like, that cold front is nuts over there.
It's a polar vortex. So they say it's colder here than it is on the North Pole. So it happens usually like once a winter here. But we had beautiful weather until the last week. So it kind of felt like we were going to skip winter this year, and I should have known better. And then there's you.
That's the Alberta specialty. Yeah, and then I'm over here sitting at like +6, watching things starting to bloom again.
Yeah, shut up. Like, stop it. The only good thing is the days are starting to get longer, and I think I can get through winter more that way. It's when it's dark at like 5 o'clock, you go to work and come home and it's dark. That's what I don't like. 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I was noticing that last week. I was like, holy shit, it feels like summer nights again. Like, this is crazy. It's 5:30 and it's dark, but it's like usually around like 4:30 it was getting fucking dark. So it was like, this feels fucking great. Like, I know. This is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, loving the longer days. Yeah. And it was Groundhog Day, and I heard that, I can't even remember what it is, if he sees a shadow or doesn't see a shadow. Either way, I heard it was the positive end of things, and we only have 6 weeks left of winter.
I hope that's true. I really do.
What is it? If he sees his shadow, we have a longer winter or shorter? What is it again?
I don't know. I
can't fucking remember. I feel like I should know this.
I feel like I should know it too. And I honestly can't remember at all. But I think
that's fine. You guys let us know what it is.
Anyway.
But anyways, yeah, winter is coming to an end. I mean, not really over there, it doesn't feel like, but we're getting there.
I saw, like on Instagram, there's like this cleaning page that went viral anyway, and she's located in Calgary. And she was talking about spring cleaning on her stories, and she's like, but what is spring to you guys? Because to me, I consider spring to be like May, June. What about you? And like, nobody voted for May, June. I'm like, oh no, it is May, June. Like, it's not March.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, joys of being in Alberta.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so annoying. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy not to do those Alberta winters anymore. I don't really need to rub it in, but
really would like
holy
to join
fuck.
You there. Like, I fucking
I know.
I'm so over it.
Want all my family and friends get out of the prairies, come over here and be in the nicer weather.
Yes, please. Like, seriously. I just wish everyone would just move to BC. Like, just pick up our lives and move there. And then I don't have to miss people. I don't have to worry about, like, just bring jobs over.
All the things. Yeah, exactly. The only shitty thing is how expensive it is to live over here. Yes. So, like, I get it. It's not an easy move to make. No. That's for sure. But
no, but it's not like
so
Calgary's
beautiful.
Cheap either. Like we have really high rents and stuff
Very
like that
true.
too. So, I mean, it's not Vancouver, that's for sure. But I'm already used to paying more than I should be for what I'm living in.
These are facts.
Yeah. So it's Sunday. Today's actually the Super Bowl. So
yes,
it's happening right now, actually. So people are watching that, I'm sure. And
yeah, who is doing the halftime show?
The Weeknd. And
oh, right. I seen that yesterday.
Yeah, and actually, okay, so this is something I wanted to talk about. Is so I wouldn't consider myself like a fan of The Weeknd. Like I definitely enjoy his music, but I'm not a fan per se, right? So last year, around this time last year, he started coming out like with his album and was like releasing promotional singles and all that stuff. And I remember seeing him like with like bruises on his face and stuff and doing performances like looking like he'd been beat up. And I was like, what the hell's going on there? And in the last couple weeks, he released that video where he has like the fake plastic surgery look. Did you see that going around online?
So I didn't, but actually, Cole told me about it.
Yeah.
And then Brenda and I were talking about it last night because he's been showing up to like shows in all these bandages.
Yes. Yeah. So what I didn't realize is that every video he's released this era is connected and it's like telling a story. So from the first video that he released, including promotional, like when he went on to like Jimmy Kimmel and did like, these other things, it's part of the story. And so I actually went and watched every video in order and was like watching the story unfold. And it was actually kind of impressive. Like I like that's one thing I really love about pop music is like how they use it as like such it's a little bit more creative than people always think, right? Like it's like you think about the eras, you think about the visuals, like there's so much to it, right? And like that's one thing the Weeknd has done is like a lot of people will like make fun of like an Ed Sheeran or like a Shawn Mendes for being like white mayo and really boring. And like no offense to them, but like you know, like for being pop music, because women have to put like everything out there, right? Like Taylor Swift talked about it in Miss Americana, and how you have to like reinvent yourself every single era in order to remain interesting. Right. So women are held to a completely different standard. So I kind of like that he takes kind of a bit more of that creativeness, and the Weeknd is like an alter ego. Like he literally, it's almost like a Slim Shady situation. Like he's pretending to be the Weeknd instead of himself, Abel or whatever. So this whole story was really cool to go through and see, and it's kind of about fame. And like there's like a point in one video where it's like he's making a deal with the devil, like lots and lots of symbolism, and about like how Hollywood like puts you through the ringer and tosses you out and everything. So it was really interesting. And I think he said, sorry, you go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah, like Cole was kind of explaining it to me too, and like he's trying to put the take on like Hollywood makes everyone feel like they have to be a perfect like image, right? Like that's the whole like plastic surgery part of it, right? Like everyone who's in LA and in Hollywood always feels like everything has to be perfect on their face, on their body.
And like it's like always performing for people and doing things for people. Like that video was like really unsettling when I watched it, because he's just sitting there looking all fucked up and singing, and everybody in the audience is just staring and clapping, and like I don't know, like you could just tell there's a lot going on there. It's really dark. So it was interesting.
Cole told me it was pretty disturbing.
It was, really disturbing. So, but he said that
it made me feel crazy.
Yeah, so he said that the Super Bowl halftime show is going to be kind of like along those lines, like he's telling a story. And I don't think it'll be necessarily continuation, because you can't expect everybody who's tuning in to have seen all the rest of the music videos, right? So I'm guessing that it's going to be kind of a newer story, but I'm actually looking forward to watching it, because like after I went back and watched all those videos, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. And I had no idea, because I'm not like a fan of his necessarily, and it's like when Taylor Swift releases something with all the freaking Easter eggs, her fans are the ones who figure it out because they know things about her, and not all of her fans, like her detective fans, right? And it's kind of the same that was happening for the Weeknd too. Like some of his fans were like breaking down these videos, like at this point this is this part of his life and this part of his life, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot, but like I can just
crazy,
understand.
but like so smart. So smart, and a very genius way to send a message, spread a message and awareness, you know, like I don't know, I just think it's really cool. And like, when you first started talking about this, I was thinking, wow, that's very Taylor Swift Easter eggs of him to do.
You know, for sure. And
but his own take and way of it, like
exactly. So that's pretty. It's pretty cool. So I'm excited to kind of see what he's doing, and Apparently he's the first Canadian to ever headline the Super Bowl, so that's pretty cool too.
What? That's fucking cool.
Yeah. So
that's so cool. Fucking shout out the Weeknd. What's up?
Yeah.
Canada on the map.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like know much about the Super Bowl. Like, never really is a big thing to me. I mean,
no, me neither. It's like, oh,
last year I watched it, but
yeah, like same with me. I've watched it at certain times more so for the snacks, but like,
yeah, me
too. Like football isn't as big of a thing here in Canada, and there are definitely NFL fans, but it's not like it's not like it's not like a cultural event here necessarily the way it is in the States, right? Like, but the Super Bowl is kind of a big deal just because it's like finals. Like, people tune into finals in any sport that they don't necessarily watch, right? So,
for sure,
yeah. I don't even know who's playing. I just know that Tom Brady is.
I was just gonna ask.
Was traded. And is that what they call it in football? I'm guessing it is traded. Anyway, and so after the Patriots were in like almost every single Super Bowl, his new team is in this one, of course, because he's literally the GOAT. Like, which I hate that term.
The GOAT of football.
So, yeah, I really don't care who wins. I have no skin in this game at all.
Yeah.
And I just like to tune in for the, like, Super Bowl and shit. The Super Bowl. The halftime show, because, like, those are huge. Yeah. Like, huge. Like,
oh, yeah. I didn't watch and see the performances.
Yeah, I didn't watch J-Lo and Shakira's, though. Like...
Stop it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god, that one was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I was like up dancing watching it. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like,
I know.
Dude, that performance was incredible.
Yeah, I saw like parts of it.
That's crazy.
And what I was
didn't
like
see it.
really into was people talking about it after, and like all these like really conservative like moms being angry that their kids had to watch women dancing. Like, it's so
it was
funny.
ridiculous.
So
I just
never ended up like tuning in. Like, it's one of those things, like, I was putting it aside, and then last year feels like a freaking like lapse in the timeline. Like, I don't even know what other things happened last year. So.
I agree. It's pretty crazy because, like, they fucking complimented each other. So, like, those fucking women can dance. Like, oh, man. Those women have fucking...
Yes. That's what they're kind of known
like,
for.
Oh, my God. It was 100%. It was incredible.
And I wouldn't have
thought
so that they would be, like, paired together. Like, the only thing that they have in common is, like, Latina roots or something, right? Like, their music is not really the same. Like, so it kind of seemed a little bit random, but it's cool that they were able to put on such a good show.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, I'll have to catch it.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have to look it up and watch it because it was really fucking good. Like I said, I was like up dancing in my living room. we were on the farm, and Cole and I were watching the Super Bowl, and it's crazy to think because, like you said, like last year just seems like a fucking blur. Like it's crazy, right? But like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and we're getting close to the time that like we were getting ready to go to Europe and stuff, right? Like. So crazy. And yeah, I remember watching the Super Bowl with Cole. He had a couple bets on it, and so that's why I really cared, is because he bet on it. And then the halftime show was fucking awesome, so I was like, oh, this is what I'm here for. This is fucking great, because I had no idea they were performing. And yeah, I fucking love J-Lo and Shakira. Fucking legends.
Yeah.
Fucking legends. You want to know who else? This is kind of random, but like, whatever, in the topic of dancing, I've been seeing on Instagram that Jessica Alba has been making like the best TikToks ever. And I don't watch TikToks. I mean, I see them on Instagram, but I don't actually like go on TikTok itself. But like, dude, she is like really fucking good at TikTok. Like, she's been doing all these challenges, and like, she fucking kills it. Like, that girl is a good dancer. Like, she's fucking awesome. I fucking love her.
Well, remember Honey?
It was really cool to see. Oh, 100%. Yeah, Honey, for sure. But I just, like, you know, that was fucking years ago.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. It was crazy for me to see her doing these challenges, and it was just, I don't know. It was just cool. Really cool. I've seen a lot of, like, older.
It's funny how some people
celebrities
can catch
doing
on.
TikTok.
Yeah, and then others can't.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
It's a different medium. Like, it's way different than what people are used to. And so, like, it's cool how, like, someone like her can, like, really, like, catch on. And then, like, Jason Derulo took it on really seriously and had, like, professional editors, which I think was a little bit extra.
What?
Yeah. Professionally edited videos, and then started hanging out with these TikTok kids. Like, they were just hanging out at his pool. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it was super weird. And then you had somebody like Howie Mandel, who was so awkward that people thought that he'd been kidnapped and was trying to tell people that he was fucking kidnapped. So, like,
I forgot about that.
So I guess he was not very good at it.
Yeah.
So
I completely forgot about that.
I know.
Oh my god.
Again, this last year feels like a fever dream. Like, like what actually happened
for
this
sure.
last year? Because that was really funny when that was happening. Because it was so obvious. Like, people really always want to read into these videos as if they're trying to show them some secret code, and like 9 times out of 10 they're not. So.
Yeah, but it was kind of around the same time that the whole Britney Spears thing was happening too, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, like, or people were really talking about it. Yeah, so I think people.
Like,
there's nothing about Howie Mandel that, like, would make you think that normally. Like,
very true. Yeah, this is very true.
He has handlers. Like, who's holding him hostage? Like, I don't know. It was just so random. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
like, you're that bad at it. Like,
yeah, that was. Yeah, has to publicly say, like, guys, I just suck at TikTok. There was no hidden message.
Like, I'm like 60 or 70 or however old he is.
Yeah,
like,
I just don't know how to do it.
That's so funny. Like, so that's how I kind of felt about it when it first came out, was like that would be me if I ever tried to do it. But I think,
oh my god, me too.
I wouldn't. I love scrolling through TikTok, but I would never ever do something to put it out there. It would be so embarrassing.
I could never. Dude, I could never. Like, honestly, when Cole's manager was talking to him about, like, us looking into TikTok, like, starting to do TikTok. Remember, it was, like, a day that I went on to TikTok and was, like, researching it and like, thinking about different things that Cole and I could do for, like, challenges or whatever. And I was like, I just, like, would never do the dances. That's for fucking sure. I would look like such a dork.
Yes.
Like, such a dork trying to do those.
I wouldn't even be able to take myself seriously.
Just, like, me neither. And even just, like, doing the lip singing or mouthing the skits.
So embarrassing.
Like, it is. It's so embarrassing. I don't know if I would be like, I look like an idiot.
I'd be
I
too
can't
self-conscious.
do it. And some people are great at it.
Yes.
Me too. Like, some people are fucking great at it. And, like, good for all you TikTokers out there that are killing the game. Like, fuck yeah, good for you. But, like, personally, no, I'm too old for that shit.
No.
I don't know how to do it.
I would be so self-conscious. Like, and it's one of those things, so like, I've said, like, one of the things that make me cringe the hardest is when people are trying to be sexy, and you can, like, see that they're trying to be sexy. So sometimes I see these people lip syncing, and I'm like, please stop it, you're doing the opposite of what you're trying to do.
You're making me feel really uncomfortable right now.
It's so bad. So that's, like,
it's
one of the worst things. And then, like, I also wouldn't want to spend hours to put out a 15-second video. Like, it's too much effort. And I'm not a creative person like that. Like, not at all. So
yeah, me neither.
I'll just watch and really enjoy them instead. So
yeah, and I don't even do that. I barely watch. I don't. There's no appeal to me. I mean, maybe one day I'll start watching them a bit more, but, like, I don't know, they just kind of get annoying to me. But I was the same way with YouTube, right? Like, I didn't watch YouTube for fucking years. I was like, I don't understand sitting here and watching, like, a video of people making a skit or whatever. It was just really weird to me. And now I fucking love watching YouTube videos. So, I don't know, maybe in a few years I'll be like, oh, I like TikTok.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah.
It is cool, though, that there are, like, all different sides to it too. Like, there's like educational stuff that people do, or like people who do like renovations or construction or just building and crafting. You do the before and after and that kind of stuff. Like, it is cool. It's a really cool platform. If you're creative, you can do a lot of really cool things with it. But just like we mentioned earlier, you said you're not creative, I'm not creative, so I don't know how to be on TikTok. How to make TikTok content.
What's really cool about TikTok is like their algorithm is like none other. Like the For You page it's amazing. Like that's what is really the core of the app. And I don't ever see people dancing ever, because it's just not something I've ever watched. So it doesn't show me those things, right? So like that is kind of nice. And like I said too, I think that they're kind of moving away from that. The whole dancing thing isn't really the big part of TikTok anymore. And then you get down these extremely niche things. Like if you start watching people organizing, then you're in organizing talk. Or like you start watching like I just don't even know. I've got some really cool Canadian ones too. And like some of them are like about Calgary even, and they're really pointed and like very specific, and it's just really funny that people are putting out this content. Yeah, I really like it. So
yeah, that's really cool. But do you think that their algorithm game will change, like, you know, how like Instagram did and Facebook did? Like, do you think because it's such a booming app and social media platform, like, do you think they're gonna start being shitty like that and making the algorithm fucking game be annoying?
Well, I think with any, like, once they figure out a way to monetize it better, I think that's when you really start to get into that, because then they'll just prioritize things that make more money, like Instagram. Like now with the shop page, like what the hell is that bullshit, right?
Right.
So I think maybe eventually, but for now, like, because they entered a merger with this company, and they were originally talking about Microsoft, but they said that they would not give up the IP to their algorithm. Like, they know that that is the core of the app, so they know that that's what's important. So that's kind of a good thing. And like, so you can follow people on TikTok, but most people don't even go through their following tab. It's just the For You page that people go through. So I think that would just totally ruin everything. But I think eventually it probably will move into that, just because that's just how any social media goes. But but the difference, I think, is like TikTok isn't necessarily social media, it's social entertainment. So I'm hoping that they kind of keep it like that. It just sucks. Like, Instagram used to be so much better. Like, remember when it was chronological and you could see everything? Like,
yeah, I fucking miss those days, because I miss half of like my family and friends' posts, because the algorithm is so fucking annoying. And yeah, it drives me crazy. Like, it drives me so crazy.
I know. I hate it too.
So
and like,
fucking annoying.
I've really started unfollowing a lot of people too. Like, people that I just have no interest in, because I want to kind of make it more specific to things I actually care about. But then I've been on it for so long that like some of the people I've followed since like way back in the day, I almost feel an attachment to. Like, I want to see what goes on with their lives, even though I don't really care at the same time. So it's kind of funny like that, but I don't know. Yeah, no,
I feel the same way. It's kind of nice having the High Places Instagram, because I can kind of start fresh. And not that I don't enjoy following like a lot of mine and Cole's followers and fans. Like, I love following fans and followers, but again, I miss a lot of my friends and family's posts. So it's kind of nice that I have this second Instagram that I can just follow my friends, my close friends and family, and I kind of can keep up with them a little bit better that way. You know, like, that's what I kind of like about it. But yeah, I know what you mean. And like, we've even talked about this before, like, even people that drive us crazy, like Jeffree Star nowadays, we still follow him because we gotta watch It's a Bad Car Accident. We're so used to having him on there that we... yeah, me too, because the current situation is just like, I'm fucking over this guy. Like,
I'm so over him. It's like everything he does now just annoys me.
Did you see the Rolls Royce that he got?
It's like, gorgeous,
dude. But it's fucking gorgeous. Again, it's just beautiful.
Like, there comes a point too where it's like, also like, this is so excessive. Like, nobody needs this much shit. Nobody needs that many cars, and that's when I really just start.
Yeah, to like how many?
With it.
how many fucking cars does he have at this point? And not only how many cars, but like pink
Dogs.
Barbie cars. Like, dude, like, yeah, like I love these vehicles, but like, come on. Now you're just being a fucking, I don't even know. He drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like the whole Trisha Paytas situation just really like threw me off his.
Yeah, we were already like not really into him.
Yeah, we were
just like, I'm like,
yeah, we were getting there.
It's like you're a mean girl and you're an asshole and
yeah,
I have no
and you're an
interest in
adult.
Yeah, like,
and what you've done is sat there and said like, I come from nothing. I've had a hard life, which true. He's had a hard life. He's did come from nothing, but now all of a sudden you're like so fucking rich, so fucking famous, and now you treat people like complete dirt, and you sit there and call it like, say these people are your friends and I want to take you on a trip, I want to spoil you, but then all of a sudden you think, oh, well, I paid for this trip so I can be an asshole to you. Well, I bought that so I can be an asshole to you. Like,
just in general, thinking that you're entitled to be rude like that. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
And maybe
it
may be like he just feels no repercussions for being rude, and like that's fine. But I think eventually he will. Like, I really do.
100%. And
people are losing, like, they're just losing interest in him, and he's gonna have to have a freaking moment of clarity, right? But anyway, we're not gonna be there to listen to it because I'm so over his bullshit.
No. Yeah, me too. And it sucks because, like, I started watching him, what was it, like 4 years ago? Whenever I started watching YouTube, and I watched his Shane Dawson series, and I was like, fuck, this guy, like, yeah, he was kind of weird back in the day, and I kind of knew about him, like, on MySpace and stuff like that, but I wasn't, like, a huge fan or follower or whatever, but anyways, didn't really have any feelings towards him. And then it was like, you heard his story, you see how good he's doing with like his business ventures and investments, and being so smart with like using his money properly, and just he's really good at business. He's a really good fucking businessman, and it was just really cool to see, and then hear about like his makeup line and how much work he's put into it and how much care he's put into it. And it's kind of like, hey, like, okay, this is like a really cool side to see of him, and like he is like a person, and he isn't just like this savage, shady ass fucking drama queen like we kind of always thought he was or whatever. And
which he was, but he had redeeming qualities sometimes, and also
exactly,
sometimes
like,
you're willing to look past it because it wasn't bad enough. Like I really liked his honesty about makeup brands and stuff like that, so I like to watch that kind of shit. But now
it didn't seem like mean girly, and now he's a fucking mean girl.
Yeah, he's a dick, and just so
he's such a dick, and just like so caught up in his own materialistic fucking life. Like, it's sad and it's unfortunate because, again, you always talk about how you came from nothing. So in my opinion, I didn't grow up very fucking well off, and that's kind of how I act, is like I still just have a couple pennies in the bank, even if that's not the case, right? Like, it's just, you kind of just remember where you fucking came from, and it doesn't seem like he's really about that. And just sucks that he's hurting people in the process. It sucks that he's being such a mean girl, and I'm kind of over fucking having him on my social media because it just seems toxic.
Yeah, and there comes a point when somebody, like, if their character is that bad, like, you just don't even want to follow entertaining-wise. Like,
exactly, because it's like, you're a shitty person. Why would I watch you? Yeah. And, like, I don't know. You just pick up on that shady energy. Yeah. And it was just really sad to see, like, Trisha talking about what happened and what went on. And I'm not saying she's an amazing person or a goddess herself or whatever, but nobody deserves to be treated like that at the end of the day. No. And that's just
no, I felt so bad for her, just because, like, we've all been there, like, but, like, for me, I was in, like, elementary school when I went through that bullshit, so I can't imagine
fucking high school, middle school,
in, like, adult life, of just, like, people ganging up on you and bonding over being an asshole to you or whatever it may be. Like, I just don't understand people. Like, I really don't. Like, people are so freaking rude. Like, and it's also just the people you surround yourself with. Like, if you surround yourself with people who allow that behavior, encourage it, and respond well to it, then, like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, everybody in your life sucks.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, crazy. It's crazy to see adults treating other adults that way, and it's sad, and it's just fucked really up. Sad. But, I mean, she got her story out there, and it seems like a lot of people are supporting her, and that's really good. And hopefully she's just kind of learned from her mistakes of, you know, putting friendship and trust into the wrong people, unfortunately. Like, yeah, it's just sad. But yeah, it's definitely somebody I'm probably going to be unfollowing soon on Instagram.
I know. And, like, it's like, I'm thinking about, like, if me and Pat, like, suddenly found ourselves extremely well off, he would be collecting cars too, but it wouldn't be, like, all Jeffree has is just, like, the really expensive brands, the ones you think about, like, the Lambos, the, like, super high-end Teslas, the Rolls Royce. Like, he doesn't actually have an interest in cars, I don't think, and that's where it comes across. It's just, like, you're just showing off what kind of money you have. Like, you're not actually appreciating these items that you're buying, and that's kind of what's really weird to me. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, for some people like that, like, you can just tell, like, you're trying to fill your empty life with material things, and that's just becoming extremely obvious, and that's really sad. Like, what's all the money in the world worth if you aren't treating people properly and have people who, like, actually love you? Like, exactly.
Like, with that whole Vegas trip, like, why weren't you sitting there being like, yeah, like, let's go to the Mariah Carey concert, let's freaking have the best time, go for all the dinners, and, like, do the private jet, blah 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 blah. Like, isn't that something you should be, like, enjoying and enjoying with your close friends, and, like, instead of using it against them and then ganging up on them and like setting them up to be ditched, and, like, just so fucked up. Like, why'd you even invite her then? Like, I don't even get it.
Like, you're an asshole.
Why? But,
like, it's just kind of, it's like one of those, like, injustices of the world too, that it's like, why does that happen to people like that? Like, why can't it be like the people who deserve things to get the money and, like, the resources and the things, you know? Like, that's one thing that's like so amazing about Cole, is, like, he genuinely just, like, he loves to give other people a good time and, like, to share and to be generous. Like, that's why, like, I don't even feel bad when, like, Cole takes us out to dinner or something, because I know that it means so much to him, and he loves to be able to provide for people and to, like, do all the things and go all out, and, like, he spoils himself sometimes too. But for the most part, like, he really, when it comes to, like, extravagance, it's always for people and his friends, hey? Like, and that's just 100%. Kind of awesome that he's like that. Like, I mean, of course, he'll go to Foot Locker and buy all the clothes there, but other than that, he really doesn't, like, treat himself materialistically. It's always his friends and loved ones, so I really
it's always he wants to, like, enjoy it with others. He wants to, like, you know, like, even when we go to the fucking, like, rec room, he's like, okay, let's get everybody all the gaming cards so we can all game our fucking asses off. You know, like, it's like,
I know. It's the best thing. Like, he's so generous like that. And I know that, like, I know he would seriously have the worst time if he wasn't doing that and just, like, was the only one gaming because nobody else had money and he wanted to put on their cards. Like, so, like, it's nice
and he'd be like, fuck, I want to have
really
fun with everybody. Like,
Yeah,
I
really
agree.
Generous.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's
it's
definitely
so awesome.
a difference in how some people share the wealth, that's for sure. So
yeah, exactly. But
that's like the thing I was thinking about actually is, like, when you dream about winning the lottery and stuff, that's, like, the first thing I think about is, like, how much I would give to all my people. I'm like, okay, so if I won, like, $20 million, like, I would give this much to these people and then this to my family members. Like, I think that would be the best part, is, like, giving everyone that type of experience, right? Like, when we were talking about,
I agree.
When the World Juniors were here in Alberta, so because everything's with COVID, you were able to do 50-50 tickets online if you were from Alberta. And the 50-50 was like 16 mil or something like that. So it was like $8 million.
Yeah, it was a
win.
fucking
It was
big
huge.
one. Yeah.
It was freaking huge.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us girls were all buying tickets, and then we started talking about like, okay, so when we win, we'll all go to Paris and have a meal, and then we'll fly to Italy. Like, it was just like, that was the most fun part to dream about it, was like, let's all celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talk about how we're all going to enjoy it together and what we're all going to do with it. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, so none of us won, but.
Yeah, unfortunately. But fuck, put in a good effort for it.
Yes, we really did.
All the girls did. Cole and I were actually the only ones that didn't put in.
Yeah.
But was it only in Alberta that you could? Oh, okay, yeah.
But I mean, really, if you wanted to, he could have like had one of us buy tickets for him or something. But then at that point, I was gonna say we could have
transferred you guys.
Really, like that's kind of lame. Like
yeah,
yeah. Like I'll buy.
We don't get to sit
200 for you, and then like if we win, but it'll be your win, but I won for you. Like that would be kind of weird.
Yeah, it would be weird. Takes away from the experience too.
Yeah.
So we got to live vicariously through you guys too.
All just dreaming.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's cool about it is because the lottery is like you dream about the lottery, but it's countrywide, so like it's really small chances, but the chances of winning that 50-50 were actually decent, like decent chances. So it was kind of hard not to get caught up in it. Like I never for a second thought I would win, but if I did, I would have been freaking stoked.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been fucking amazing.
It really would have. Like, get some of that fuck you money, like.
Yeah.
I always think it's really cool too when like young people win the lottery, because I think it's cool to start off your life with like a foot up. Like I think it's nice when people are able to retire and enjoy the money and stuff, but I just feel like I would rather get money now so that I could set myself up for my future than just like go through life and then I have to spend all this money in the next 20 years. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. 100%, because it's not coming with you when you die.
No.
So like
I guess inheritance, but like some people take inheritances way too seriously too. Like people who expect to get money when a loved one dies, like that's very strange to me.
That's really weird. Yeah, very strange. And when people like fight over it, like siblings and stuff, like that's just like crazy to me. I could not imagine.
No.
Like no. That would not be a thing. Like no, it's
no. And when people mention it, like, oh, I'm gonna get like this, like an inheritance, like it's like, are you hoping for the people to die?
Exactly.
Like it's just weird to me. It's really weird. Like I don't like it.
It is really weird. Even when like my mom and her fiance started like setting up their wills and stuff, I was like, I don't want to talk about this, Mom. And she's like, I know it's a really weird topic, but like I gotta like tell you and Bree what's going on and what's happening. And I was like, okay, but like I don't want to think about this. No. I don't want to talk about this. You just make it and
we'll just
whatever.
Go from there.
Do whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like
I know.
I don't like this. It's just like, well, I gotta do it and we got it, and I'm like, okay, but no, I don't want to think about that.
I know.
Like,
I know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like I've kind of mentioned it to my parents a couple times. Like, not the will part, because my parents don't have really anything to even be divided after they die. But what's really important, in my opinion, is like the personal directive. It's like to give somebody the power to make decisions for you when you are not able to do that, right? And I mean, it's okay if you discuss these things with your loved ones, because you can get like the power to be the personal directive even if you were not put in place or whatever. But I think it's just really important. Like there's some people who might want to, some people are like, pull the plug, I don't care. Other people are like, nope, try everything you can. And like, you need to have those conversations, because it's kind of, I would not want to make that decision unless I knew. Like that'd be so hard to like think about. I don't want to think about it, but if one of my parents were in that position, I would want to make sure I was doing what they would want me to be doing and not something that I was just guessing, right?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I fully agree. Yeah, and the only reason like my mom was doing it is because her and Desmond like got that house.
Yes, exactly. And they both have their own
so that
kids.
Was like,
so it's kind of, and like, no, and that's really smart. Like, I think when you actually own assets, like, absolutely have something in place for it. And, yeah, I don't know. You see people fighting over
But it's not like I'm sitting here being like, if mom passed away and mom and Desmond passed away,
we get that.
Who would get it?
Who,
we get it.
Like,
and I'm
no,
like,
that's
no.
that's so,
not
that's
at
so
all.
bad. Like, that's really
yeah,
bad.
I'd probably be like Meadow and Cooper.
Yeah,
you guys
right?
sell
like,
it and take the money. You're younger than us. You can start, that's not happening. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Knock on wood, because that's not a good thing.
Why did we go down this tangent?
Yeah, went a little far. We're moving on. Oh man, but yeah. Anyways, I'm super stoked to have you back on here. I got so many messages. People were really stoked about our episode and really stoked to have you as co-host. And I'm just so excited about it. So now we have better audio. Thomi has all the recording things. So we're stoked about that.
Yeah,
and
it's way better.
Yeah.
I already just feel more
I'm so
professional about it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just so happy that now we can just like do what we've just already been doing, just like bullshit and chat now that we've done your introduction and everyone knows who you are and everything. But one thing that I did want to talk about on this episode, it happened a couple months ago, probably, whatever, it doesn't matter. I seen online that Megan Fox's ex, he posted pictures of their kids. Now, I'm not sure they have 2 kids or, I'm not exactly sure how many kids they have. But anyways, apparently when they were together, they like came to the decision that they weren't going to post their kids on social media. They weren't going to show their faces in public or whatever, and because she just wants to keep it private and for them to have their own privacy and, they have their own life, till they can choose to be a part of being in the spotlight or whatever. And so, apparently he had them on Halloween and he posted a picture of them, and she got upset, rightfully so, and was like, he's been sitting there saying that she hasn't been present in their lives as much since she's been with MGK. And she's like, just because I don't sit here and post our kids when I'm spending my time with them doesn't mean I haven't been present. And here you are posting them when we made the decision together to not put them online, right?
Right.
And I just thought that was pretty crazy and like messed up. And I was gonna see like what you thought about it. Like, what do you think if you were in the spotlight, like if you were famous like Megan Fox and you had children, would you want your kids to be in the public eye? And B, if you didn't, like, I mean, would you have the same reaction she did that when her frickin' ex posted it, like?
Yeah, so I remember when that happened and I was really like, what the fuck? Because I think there's clearly a lot of drama going on between the two of them. And the other thing too is like, he's an actor as well. I don't know if he's still acting or if he's basically just kind of like on hiatus from that. And I think part of it might be coming from, like, obviously she's very much, after their separation, she became much more in the media again, right? Like, when her and MGK first started dating, I was thinking it was a PR relationship because I was like, she's literally everywhere again. Like,
So we haven't seen her in so long.
Exactly, right? So I think that maybe he's like trying to put himself in the news and like is really not using the right way to do it. Like, that's horrible. Don't use your kids as pawns. And I also like, I see that like divorce like in my job all the time, and I think that it's like absolutely horrible to be doing that, and like especially because she is kind of the one who would have more fame, so it kind of would probably put more implications on her. And then also because people judge mothers more than they do fathers, like I just really feel bad for her in that situation. But like, I really can respect that decision of like not putting your kids in the media and putting photos out there and stuff. Like, it's really, really shitty. And like, I know a few years back, a bunch of celebrities and like actors and all the people in Hollywood, like Jennifer Garner was like one of the big ones at it. Like, they got a bill passed in California that made it illegal to have paparazzi post photos of children that were underage. Because before that,
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it was like
that's
really
awesome.
Really
I did
bad.
not know that.
Yeah, like it was really bad, right? Like think about like the Britney Spears era of paparazzi, like that. It was horrible, and like those kids didn't ask to be put there. Like I don't like it too. Like when some people will like get mad because their kids were photographed, and like people are like, you brought this on yourself. Like this is your choice, and it's like it's their choice to do that for themselves, but not for their kids. Like don't bring kids into that. Like that's really freaking evil. And I mean, obviously people can do whatever they want. It's their choice because they are making the decisions that they think are what's best for them, their families. But I can really respect people who do that. Like I see a few different actors and stuff, or people in the public eye, like will either post emojis over their kids' faces, or like take pictures of the kid from behind so you can't see their face. And like I really think that that's a good idea, because also there's creeps out there. Like there's a lot of creepy people, and like people become stalkers, and like can you imagine your kid being put a part of that? Like
no.
It's horrible.
No, not at all. And that's another thing I've thought about it too. And like Cole and I've talked about it
because this is something that you guys actually have to talk about. Like for me, that would never be a concern, but this is legit for you guys.
And like when this happened, it was just like, it just really got me thinking. And Cole and I've talked about it. And if and when we have kids, we've both decided that we will not be posting them on social media, just because, in my opinion, the kid, like you said before, they didn't ask for that lifestyle. And Cole may not be an A-list celebrity or whatever, but he does have a lot of fans. He does have a big following. There are a lot of people that follow him, and some of them follow me. And I just, not that we don't want to share that part of our life with our fans, or that we, like, nothing against the fans, it's just, it's our child's privacy. That's what I care about. And, it's so different if you have just like a smaller following on your social media with just your close family and friends, and they're seeing pictures of your kids growing up or whatever. But like to have a lot of people, that kid might grow up and be like, Mom, why did you put my baby pictures on the internet so everybody could see that follow? Like they might not like that. Maybe they'll grow up and be like, that's cool. Maybe they'll grow up and be like, I don't like that. And so I like to give our children that choice. As soon as they're old enough to be like, I want to be in your story, I want to be in your post, then 100% I'm going to post a picture of my kid if they want to be a part of that. But as they're growing up, I would like to keep it private, and so would Cole. And that, I'm not trying to shame anybody who puts pictures of their kids and they have a big following or whatever. Like, what, do you? That's your own choice, and you want to share those family moments with the world, and your kids' funny costume or whatever, little outfit of the day or whatever. That's awesome, because I love to see it. I love to see people I follow's kids' pictures. I love to see the back to school pictures. I love to see the funny moments, that the messes the kids make or get into or whatever, whether it's famous people or just my family and friends or whatever. But Cole and I have just personally talked about this and said, we're gonna keep our children private until they're old enough to make the decision themselves. And fuck, if I was Megan Fox, I would have been fucking chapped, man. I would have been fucking chapped. Like, when I read about that and seen that, I was like, fuck that. That's fucking, that's fucked
up. That's a whole
like,
other
that's
level.
So fucked up to do.
Don't use your kids as pawns to, like, get back at your significant other. Like,
exactly. Like, that's disgusting. So disgusting and so wrong. And I'm a huge fan of Teen Mom, just so the listeners know. Thomi already knows this, but I've been watching it for a solid 10 years. And so those kids now are 10, 11 years old. And there's been quite a few of the OG cast members that have decided to take their story elsewhere, because now these kids are getting old enough to, their friends' parents are watching the show, and they're seeing a kid they go to school with's parents, whether it's present or at the beginning of the seasons when these parents were teenagers. So they were going through some rough times. They were going through some drama times, and coming to school and being like, oh, I seen your mom on TV and she was fighting with your dad and your mom's so mean or whatever. Like, So they're kind of saying like, look, exactly, yeah, your dad
like,
left
horrible.
you, exactly, like so horrible. And I know most of the moms on this show don't let their kids watch the show because it's just like it's an adult thing, really, when it comes down to it, right? So a lot of the families are kind of stepping out of it because they're like, you know what, my kid just doesn't need to, his or her life doesn't need to be exposed on TV anymore. They're starting to become preteens, and it's going to start affecting their life outside of the filming aspect of it all, right? Like,
well,
so
some of those kids,
you know,
like,
I can
have literally grown up with cameras on them, right? Like, like 6 months of the year or whatever, like, they don't really know anything different. And that's kind of the whole weird thing right there. Like they're even more intimately exposed than like a celebrity's kid who like they post pictures of or something, right? Like
100%.
It's very different. Like the whole premise of the show is based on the fact that they were born. Like,
yeah, exactly. You see them like coming into the world, literally. Like, so it's just pretty crazy, and I can definitely like respect that too. Even though they're on TV, people might think that's weird. It's like, well, you've already had them on TV for their entire life, but it's like, yeah, but now they're becoming preteens, and they kind of want to have their own life and let them make their choices of if they want to be the kid from Teen Mom or they want to be their own individual, right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
so
that would be
definitely
really difficult, like choices like that, and like that's one thing that some of these like they were 16 and pregnant when like this whole thing started. So like were they really at an age to understand the implications of what they were agreeing to, like
exactly,
TV? Like,
exactly.
did they really think about how big?
Because they were kids themselves.
Exactly, and like they also had no idea how big the show would become either. Like for all they knew, it had just been like cut, right? But I mean, of course, they made the choice to renew their contracts and stuff too. Like, so I'm not saying that they're like they had no options or choice in the game, but like, it's just they wouldn't have known at that time what would be happening, right? So it's really interesting, and like also like those kids aren't growing up like in LA with like celebrity kids where like you're used to that. Like I bet you some of these celebrities go to like private schools and they probably have like all sorts of parents who are in the entertainment business. It's not really a big deal, but these kids are just like normal kids. So
yeah, they go to like normal schools, and like they do normal extracurricular activities and stuff like that, right? Like they're not all in LA. They're all based in all different states and all kind of live different kinds of lives, and it's just like it's pretty crazy. It'd be nuts to grow up on national television. Like that's be pretty crazy, and especially now since the old seasons are on Netflix now. So now people are watching 16 and Pregnant and Teen Mom that was filmed 10 years ago, and these people are completely different now and have grown up now and whatnot, but they're watching their very beginning stages. So again, like I was saying, some of these parents with their kids who go to school with these cast children, they're seeing like the worst side and times that these parents as teenagers were going through, and like literally just so different
in front of people.
And 100%. And a lot of these girls went through a lot of rough relationships, just like we all did at 16, 17, 18, 19, right? Like just super crazy. But
I've seen like that. Like I don't watch Teen Mom, but drama about them comes up in my Explore page of my Instagram all the time for some reason. So I'll see like basically like tea channels almost like talking about them and stuff, and I saw like some people were like freaking out and getting really angry at this one girl for some choice she made, and she's like, are you kidding me? Like, don't tweet me, like I don't want to hear from you, like this was so long ago, like don't say this shit, like it's just
you're talking about a whole other lifetime ago.
And also different standards of how you hold people in the public eye as well. Like people are so much more like sensitive to what decisions people are making now, and at that time that wasn't really going to people's minds either, right? Like,
yes, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's just nuts, and I want to bring it up chatting with you just to like kind of get your
I mean it's like it's one thing to say that too, and then in another to actually be in that position. and it might be more difficult to keep them off of line or something. And like, I know some
For
people
sure, yeah.
even go as far as like asking their parents not to post and stuff, right? Like, and that's that would be a lot. And like, I just think too, like, if you're out interacting, if you're with your family and then you're approached by fans, that's even a whole other level of like very layered, right? And like, okay, so obviously Cole appreciates his fans and they're amazing and the support he gets is amazing, but there are times that I've witnessed where people don't remember that he's a human being and like he's out trying to eat with his family, and it's just because they're excited, and that like that's fine, but it's kind of concerning to think about, like, if you were out with your children, when people then realize this is not the time for a picture and please don't post that photo that you just took of my child, right? Like that's a whole other situation that I really feel for people as well.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? That's not really, I haven't really actually thought about that side of it all either, because I mean, we've had that happen before. We've went out for like breakfast with my grandparents before, and we're walking back to our car, and an hour later I see on Instagram we're tagged in a post of somebody across the street taking a picture of us walking to our car. And I'm like, oh my God, my grandparents are on Instagram right now, and they don't even have Instagram. Like, this is crazy. Like, and we love all the fans and we appreciate them all so much, but you know, it just like, that's just kind of not something we're used to, and you know, that would come into a factor. And that would come into a factor with having a kid and wanting to keep it private. Like, I literally, until you just said that, haven't even thought about that part of it. So then what, we don't go out in public with our kid, or like, I don't know. I know, that's something that we'll have to. I've heard some
celebrities say that they'll just say, well, I'm not taking pictures, I'm with my kids. And they'll just like put it out there. And they said like that there's a point where you want to make sure every interaction is good with your fans, but then there comes a point where you have to put yourself first, and like you recognize that they might go home and tell their friends they had a shitty interaction with you because you weren't very nice and didn't allow a photo, but like that's not as important as this experience you're giving your kids. And that's where it just becomes really complicated, and like trying to make concessions here, compromise here, and it's just it's not everything's not going to be perfect, right? You have to kind of sort of take that in consideration. But yeah, I've never really thought about it in terms of you guys being out either, if you had a child, and how that would really play out, because like it can be a bit much, and like I'm not the one. I know you guys wouldn't want to put that out there because it makes you sound ungrateful, and so I'll say it for you, and like, you're not ungrateful. It's just sometimes it's just like it's a lot, and people don't realize that they're dealing with a human, and you want to take that photo, but that's like this 200th photo that people have asked to take that day, and once you have kids involved too, like that's just a whole other thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I gonna have to do? Take the kid and walk away while Cole takes photos with fans, so then, you know, like, can kind of protect our child's privacy or whatever. I don't know. And it's also crazy because like, now that COVID's happened, we're not in public as much. We haven't had the fan interaction as much, and I don't know how it's gonna feel when things are kind of back to normal and people are spotting Cole again, because I'm just so not used to it. Like, and not saying that I'm gonna be like, this is weird or creepy, but it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Like, people recognize Cole. You know, like, people know who he is, and it's just like, it'll be like adjusting to it almost all over again, like I did when we first started dating. But when we first started dating, it was like 2 people at the mall at most that would spot him. Now it's like he gets spotted no matter what, pretty much. Like, so it'll be crazy going back into the world, and
I agree.
You know, Cole getting spotted like that.
And just like, I'm thinking about like the feeling of being at the fair and how we can't even walk like without people crowding, and just the thought about crowds is like such a foreign thought right now.
It makes me feel very claustrophobic. Like, you know, like it's like that's not a normal thing to me anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
I agree.
A crowd, it seems really weird right now. But
I hope, because I like crowds, because especially in something like that, because I am just like soaking up the energy. Like that is what I think about when I think about the fair. It's just like that amazing energy of people so excited to be in at the fair, and like summer and like all these things, and like that's the part I'm really looking forward to when we can eventually get back to it. But I hope that I'm not like overwhelmed, because it's been so long since I've been used to that. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I mean too, because like I do too. Big crowds don't bother me. Like, sometimes I can get a little bit anxious when it's like too much. Like when at that show of Coles that we got like attacked.
Horrible.
Yeah, that was scary.
Horrible.
I was actually terrified for my life. Like I was so scared. It was like not a good time.
People and it wasn't even just because of Cole. It was just the tightness of the space.
Yeah.
And there was nowhere to leave.
Yeah.
Like it was way too much.
It was crazy. But like, yeah, like going to a fair, going to a show, like I love crowds. I love feeling everybody's energy. I love everyone's excitement and being like, fuck yeah, like we're at the fair, we're at a concert. This is so awesome. But yeah, being in it so much, especially like from our last few years of touring so much and being around people so much and constantly crowds after crowds after crowds, to a year of just straight line nothing. No crowds, no gatherings, nothing. It's going to be really weird. I think Cole's going to be fine. I think Cole's going to be, and I mean, I'm not saying like it's going to be a breeze for him. I think it'll take some adjusting for him for sure, but I know how excited he is to get back on the road and perform and like be around his fans and the crowd and whatever. But I definitely think that I'm going to be a bit more like introverted, like, okay, gotta get used to all these people and all this noise, and you know, like I do think it's going to be, but I mean, it'll probably be like getting back on a bike, right? Like it'll be a little bit weird at first, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is what life's like. This is how we used to live. This is this is what it's normal. Like, right?
Yeah. I don't even remember the last show I went to. Like, I was trying to think about that the other day, and like, I don't remember, and that's kind of a weird feeling, because even though
it would have been last year New Year's.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
probably,
because that's what I was thinking.
I'm assuming.
Yes, it would have been. It 100% was, and like I couldn't remember if it was Cole's or someone else's. Like I couldn't remember
for sure.
Because I do go to a decent amount of like live shows, like with
like
Cole
unless
and,
you.
No.
Unless you guys went to your friends.
No, we didn't go see the Perfect
no.
Guys. No.
Okay, no.
I don't think we did very much last year before COVID hit really hard.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was quick. It was fucking quick the way it came in. So we didn't really have time to do much, right? Like.
Yeah, and I didn't even have like concerts planned and stuff. So. That's like what's kind of shitty. Like some people go to concerts all the time, and like big concerts, right? Like there's a difference between like the stadium shows versus like the like hip hop bar shows that we go to sometimes. So
100%.
I feel bad for those people. And then that's another thing too, is the revenue that musicians are losing out on. And actually, this is kind of old news now, sort of. But have you heard about a bunch of like really big older artists selling their music catalogs? Like Bob Dylan, Stevie Nicks, Neil Young. They all sold the rights to their music. And it's like this really big thing. It became like a trend almost. Like it's really crazy. Like Bob Dylan sold his entire catalog for $300 million.
And why?
So a few different things. Okay, so this might be boring. I hope it's not boring, but the publishing rights is what they're talking about. So, like, this isn't the masters, like the Taylor Swift situation. It's the publishing rights. So when you have songwriting credits on a song, you have the publishing rights. So then you are still, like, it's all about percentages, right? So, like, if you have, like, two writers, they have more percentage, like, in the actual songs. And you can then... You have a say as to what happens to your music, and then you get paid out every time your music is used. So what happened, like, all of a sudden it just became this huge thing. There's this company called Hypnosis, and they're buying up so freaking much. Like, just anyone who's willing to sell, and it's created a market that wasn't necessarily there before. And so what they're saying is there's a few different factors here at play. One of them is that a lot of people were selling it off before Biden became president because he is going to change capital gains taxes. So when you like sell or inherit all this other stuff, like there'll be more taxes than there was before. So it kind of became like a thing that all of a sudden everyone was doing quickly. The other thing is I think because it's such a conversation now, people are considering selling them. So you have some artists that are like older established acts, right? Like you have like Neil Young, Bob Dylan, like I said, Stevie Nicks, like old established acts who are like getting later on in their lives and their careers. But you also actually, Shakira was one of them who just sold them. So what it is like they don't really know what the future of music is going to become. Clearly we're in the streaming era and it's a whole different thing. So we don't know how to value the music going forward. And in the past, all you really wanted was to get like one or two big hits and you could really be set for life. Because every time your music is played on the radio or a movie or a commercial, you get a chunk of money through royalty. So that was always like a given that like if you had a couple big hits, you'll kind of be all right. Maybe it's not a huge amount of money, but it's coming in every month. So now with the streaming era, people aren't buying albums anymore. Like they're not buying greatest hits albums. They're not going out and saying, oh, I want to hear like Dreams by Fleetwood Mac became huge this last year because it was on a TikTok video. So people aren't going out and buying the album to listen to it. They're streaming it. And streaming, like you can get like 1 million plays and you're only making like a couple $100 or so. It depends on how many people are getting paid out and what your percentages are and stuff, right? So now what they're saying is like, okay, for some people, you have to choose. Would you rather get money throughout the rest of your life and not know how much, but you know, maybe you'll get monthly checks, or you just sell it off right now and then you have the money up front. And that's why some of these older acts are doing it, because they are kind of getting closer to like trying to get their estates in order. They know that they won't be around forever. Maybe they won't be able to tour anymore. And so that's a big part of it. And then the other thing is COVID, because a lot of these legacy acts, that's where they get their money, is doing tours every year or whatever. And now all that money has dried up. So you thought that you were able to rely on that, and then now suddenly it's not an option. So they're selling their catalogs, and it's very, very interesting, because whereas like someone like Taylor Swift is in the news, she's fighting for ownership of her property. Some of these people are willingly selling it, right? And it's just really interesting. And I think it's kind of also become like, I think when you see others around you doing it, you think you need to do it yourself, right? And like these funds that are buying it, they don't even know if it's going to be worth that in the end. Like they don't know if it will play out, and it really just depends on kind of like what happens moving forward with streaming and selling music, but also you don't know what's going to happen to certain artists, right? Like some people like Neil Young, his music is always going to be worth something, but like Shakira, like maybe some of her old stuff won't be worth something. Maybe it'll just be like a Hips Don't Lie is really what you're paying for. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. 100%. It's really interesting. Really interesting.
That is interesting. And sorry, you said it's like one company that's doing it? Or?
There's a few different companies, but this Hypnosis, and it's funny, the guy who co-founded it, his name's Merck, which is funny. And he co-founded it with Nile Rodgers, who was like a big producer guy and like music. He was a guitarist and stuff in the 70s. Anyway, so they co-founded this fund, and they are buying up huge portions of all this music. So then I think other people then have to then think, okay, this is a thing, so let's put our money here and start investing in it. And then I know that Universal Music Group was the one who bought Bob Dylan's catalog. So I'm pretty sure like that he's on their label. So what's becoming interesting then is like, what are they going to do with this? So let's say that this Hypnosis decided to leverage this because they have some huge catalogs. They could just pull all of it off of streaming and demand that Apple and Spotify pay more, and they could totally change everything. Or they could go and start their own streaming and say, you have to come to us. And then suddenly we're dealing with a TV streaming situation where if you want to watch something, you have to stream from one particular network. And that's, I don't know, but that could backfire, because pirating music is a lot easier than pirating TV and movies, right? Like, people are more willing to pirate music, in my opinion. So that might send people into pirating again. So I don't know. It's really interesting, and nobody really knows why they're doing this, but clearly it's kind of just with any market, like, the time is right for selling, and that's why it was like a month ago, like, every day I would see some new big artist just sold their whole catalog, or like a big portion of it, like 75% of the rights. They'll keep some, but so it was just really interesting, because I really like that side of the music business, like the ownership and how all that kind of stuff works. And like, people get fucked over in music really hard. Really, really hard.
For sure.
And, so,
do you think that, maybe I'm like fucking off my rocker by saying this or even thinking this, but do you think TikTok has anything to do with it? Because like, old fucking songs have been making this huge comeback because of people making skits or dances to it, right? I do realize that a TikTok challenge or video will only go viral for even like just a week, but even then, kids are starting to listen to these old songs because it was, it went viral for a week. It was a challenge, and it gets stuck in your head just like any other song. So then you download it to listen to it or whatever, right? Like, do you think maybe that has anything to do with it too, though?
Well, I'm sure that it played somewhat, just because it really made people realize that like the music industry is changing, and like it already has been changing, but this just showed even more, because a lot of the music that hit the top 40 in the past year was because of TikTok. And not because of your traditional promotion, your traditional marketing. Exactly. That, I think, really shook up the whole industry. And so I think that does have something to do with it. But the other thing I heard that the way that like Gen Z, like the younger kids, listen to music is so much different than how people our age and older do. So you or I, we might listen to like a playlist or an album like once a day or something. But these kids are listening to like a Roddy Ricch song or something 200 times a freaking day for like 3 weeks, and then they move on to something else. So it's a very different, it's not as there's not as much longevity, because again, when you bought an album, there was just that one transaction, right? And then now it's like they want to get you for however many streams that they possibly can. And one album paying out was more, and it also didn't matter how many times somebody listened to that album, whether they listened to it ever again, it doesn't matter. You got their $10 or whatever, right? And the streaming's a lot different. But the thing though too with the old music is that the radio, like the classic rock stations, like they are still playing the same 500 songs, I think even 500 in a stretch, every single day, and have been for years, right? Like there's, and it doesn't change. Like their playlists do not change, and that's different than how top 40 is consumed nowadays. Like the playlists do change a lot, right? So
it's crazy. That's so true. Yeah.
So I'm sure TikTok does have something to do with it, but I don't really know. Like I don't know what they're planning. I don't even know if they know what they're doing. Like it's just
I don't think it's a huge part of it, but just kind of like thinking about how many older songs have now come big and viral again, and kids are listening to it, and it's like
Dreams like by Fleetwood Mac, and all these like Gen Zers are like, wow, this Fleetwood Mac, like I didn't know they were good. I always heard the boomers and the everyone talking about them, but I had no idea they were good. Like I saw a lot of people thought Fleetwood Mac was like a person and not a band. Yes. So they were like really shocked. Like it's really funny to me, because I think that Fleetwood Mac is like a really like one that's like ubiquitous in our generation. Of like there's a ton of people our age who love Fleetwood Mac. Like it's like
for sure
they were really like accessible by children, I think, in a way. Like so we grew up listening to it, and so anyway, it was just really funny, like people like, oh, this Dream song is really good, and it's like they make some good music.
They make some bangers.
Imagine that.
Happened for a hot minute.
So
That's
it's really
crazy,
interesting.
though.
The other thing too about
crazy.
the licensing, now I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that means then that you own the lyrics. So you then could control the merch. Like if you put lyrics on a shirt, you can make money that way. Yeah. And then every time someone chooses to cover you, right? Like that's the big thing with like a catalog like Bob Dylan is like he gets covered a lot. So that's another big part of money, right? So it really depends. Like there's so many different factors. It's not like they're just buying up artists like Bob Dylan. Like there's newer artists. There's a whole bunch of different people. So it's just, it's really interesting. And it's also sad, like that some people, like that's what they were depending on their livelihood of, like those songwriter royalty checks, and then B, touring, and then the songwriting has all started to really clean up, and they don't get them as much money, and then touring with COVID and shit, like who knows what the future of touring and concerts will be, and when we'll start seeing that.
And like, when, exactly.
I don't think this year we will see it at all. So
I really don't either.
Yeah.
We'd be lucky even 2022, I'm going to say. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to put that in the universe or anything, but just like, preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, right? Like, it's just kind of what it is, right? Like, everyone kind of, not everyone, but I feel like a lot of people had a feeling as soon as 2021 hit, you know, boom, we were going to be seeing the end of the tunnel. And unfortunately, it's kind of
not quite there, especially something like concerts.
Yeah, and
because it'll be phased back, and that's like something that's just too much. Like that's the end of the game that we'll be looking at, right?
Yeah.
So, and not every. It's kind of unfortunate. Like someone like Cole already has like a really dedicated fan base, so he doesn't have to focus on going out and touring to promote himself like some artists do that are like up and coming, right? And so for some people it's harder than others, and some people aren't really social media savvy, like in terms of their presence. So that's really where you have to keep people engaged right now, because you're not able to go and show people how much of a good performer you are and get fans 100%. That way. So it really depends on the artist, and that's kind of really shitty for people. Like, I don't know.
It's not easy, and some people can just know how to do that online and know how to keep their fans interacting and entertained and engaged, and some people just aren't really about that online and just like to do the live music and show what they got in front of their fans. And you know, it's crazy. It's like a whole new thing. And I remember talking about it with Cole at the beginning of COVID. Like, you know, it's really awesome how much you have such an online presence. Like, even if it's not Cole posting like skits or like videos, you know, just even him, he posts on Instagram all the time. He posts on his Facebook all the time. He's always, you know, posting funny memes or like whatever it may be kind of thing. Like, he's always interacting and making sure that he has content flowing so well. And like, I just remember saying to him, like, it's one thing that is so good about just how you are as an artist and a person, and you just got that, you know, like you're so about your online presence, and has been forever. Like, when Cole was fucking Mark Mikes, he was sitting there on Tiny Chat all night long with his fucking webcam on for hours, passing out on, you know, like, and fans remember that. Like, man, I used to sit there and watch you pass out and then come back to life in the morning and be like, what's up, guys? Like, you know, like,
but that's how
it's
first kind of started getting a fan base, because of those interactions and being online.
Exactly.
And that's what's really important now for people. It's like, I don't know, it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
It is super interesting.
And it's not enough to just be someone who has music put out there and goes and promotes it and then walks away and doesn't think about it for the next 3 months. Like, you can't do that anymore. You have to have a social media presence, unless you're extremely established. Like a Beyonce, right? Like, she'll just like drop off the face of the earth until she has something to come out and put on
or
there,
fucking
right?
Eminem.
Because people, exactly.
Yeah, right? Like, same thing. They don't need to make posts on their social media and keep things active, because people are just waiting. Okay, when are you going to give us something else? Like, we'll just patiently wait while you go into your house and hide away.
Exactly. And that's not the case for newer people up and coming, so it'll be
no. It's interesting. It's crazy, and Yeah, COVID has taken the music industry for a whole kind of upside down fucking wave here. Like it's nuts, but Cole's been fucking killing it. Cole's been doing great in COVID with like his content and recording. Like he's worked his ass off during COVID, and it's crazy. It's really good, and I'm fucking so proud of him because he's recorded so much music, man. Like I can't even believe how many projects he's been fucking like.
I know, it's like never ending.
It's nuts. It is. It's literally never ending. Like feels like every week there's a new project that he's doing, and I'm not going to get into detail about it because that's stuff that he's working on and has to be kept on the lowdown for right now. But DL, thank you. But he's been doing really good, and I mean, again, just another thing that, you know, influencers, musicians, artists should be very thankful for is technology that we have nowadays for something like this time and different world we're living in, because again, you don't have to be at these certain studios. You can have your own home studio and make music and send it to an engineer and have them do the twists and turns to it to, you know, make it sound good and be listenable and whatever, right? And then same with the fan interactions and shit. You can, you know, go live. You can keep your content flowing and keep engaging with your fans, but definitely takes special type of personality to be able to do that, right? Like even me, I'm fucking struggling with like having my own personal Instagram, my Friends in High Places Instagram, and then having our Tippy Toes Cleaning Instagram. I'm like, holy fuck, this is a lot of fucking Instagram accounts that I have to keep.
The one day I logged on and I had stories to watch from like all three of those accounts for you, and I'm like, oh my god, Chris is probably just sitting here constantly on Instagram posting. Like I feel so bad.
Oh,
like
it's so much. Like it's so much. But I mean, like it's not like it's hard. It's just I'm trying to keep things consuming, and I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping things like active and alive. And there's just some days that even I don't even have time to like look at Instagram. And you know, like a few months ago that would have been fine, but nowadays it's like, fuck no, I need to get on Instagram. I need to like make a post, or I need to like check my messages and see if like people have been sharing that they're listening to the podcast even, or replying to Tippy Toes stuff. And like it's a lot, and like Cole is fucking good at it. He's fucking so good at it. And I mean, I know he has one account, like I'm saying that very lightly because he has a lot of fucking people, so he has a lot of messages, he has a lot of content to push out there and a lot of things to promote and share and everything like that. So like I sound like a baby whining about all the things I have to do because that's fucking Cole's 24-hour job. Like
but Cole's always
years of his life. Like, always. Yeah. Oh, this is true, and I don't like to be always on my phone. That's something that I don't like to do. So that's where I kind of get the fight with it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking that we're probably running out of time here, so we should probably wrap it up.
Okay.
But thank you so much for coming back on here.
I thank you for having me. It was fun. I really had fun recording, actually. So. Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to thank me for having you because this is now going to be our show. So I'm just thanking you for coming on here because I'm thankful that we got some time to record, and I know you have a busy life. So don't thank me, but I'm thanking you, and I hope that we get to be back on here soon. And I'm just really excited to do more and more.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I hope you stay safe. I hope you stay healthy and positive, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Something classic, something special.